What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here with another video. Today we are going to be reviewing the Amazon documentary episode 1. Obviously we've seen all 3 episodes. I think we watched it both at the same time, 11 o'clock.
Yeah, as soon as it came out, I had to get straight on it.
Sorry we're a bit slow with the review videos, but we're going to bring you a review video.
We're taking our time to think things over and really analyse it.
Yeah, so obviously there's been 3 episodes so far. There's going to be 3 more on Monday and then 3 more the following Monday. And we'll be bringing you 3 weekly episodes to review each and every episode. Let's start off with the first one. First of all, what did you think about it? Did you enjoy the documentary?
The documentary overall, yeah, I've enjoyed it so far. I think it's a bit more, it's not as fly on the wall as I would have liked it. I think that also I'm not a big fan, although it's Tom Hardy doing the voiceover, I'm not a massive fan of the voiceover. I prefer the squad and the players and the people involved to tell the story. I mean, rather than a voiceover tell you what's going on, or which I prefer, like in the Sunderland one.
I mean, Jose Mourinho is the blockbuster in this, isn't it? It's basically the Jose Mourinho show. It
is pretty much. He's playing. Sometimes you feel like he's playing up to the cameras and stuff, but yeah, the first episode we obviously saw the end of the Pochettino reign. They kind of glossed over it, which I was a bit disappointed by. Yeah,
you know, you're expecting to see a lot more, but you know, you can see that this documentary is geared up not to show Spurs in a bad light, kind of thing.
When, you know, there was think about all those painful defeats, like against Brighton, against Bayern Munich, even against Newcastle. Like, they showed the footage of the game, which we've all seen, obviously. But, you know, I'd love to see what the reaction was for Pochettino at full time after we get battered 7-2, how he reacted to that, and all these other defeats. They don't show it. They didn't show Son's reaction like at full time after the Everton game, after he done the injury to Gomez and stuff like that. So all this stuff they glossed over very quickly. They didn't show the Pochettino sacking either. They kind of just glossed over that very quickly.
It was why he reported the actual documentary was going to open with the Poch sacking.
Yeah, so maybe they changed their tune after people saying it's a disrespectful one. I disagree. I think it's a documentary. They're documenting everything. There's no point being in it if they're going to cut out the most interesting things, you know what I mean? So on that side of things, I was a bit disappointed. I'd like to see more of how the Pochettino era really ended. They kind of just glossed over it as if it was definitely going to happen. The only interesting thing we saw was Pochettino talking with Jesus a bit, and he said something in Spanish, but it was translated saying, when your house is burning down, you have to know before it burns down that it's going to burn down.
But not about Tottenham.
And he goes, not talking about Tottenham, just in general, not talking about Spurs, which I thought was quite interesting. That was the only kind of insight we got into Pochettino. I think that's the only time we hear him speak, really, to the camera for the whole. So after 20 minutes in, we get that bit glossed over, and then we see then Mourinho comes in.
I don't know if it's like the way they've cut it and put the music over it and the way they've shot it and the way they're trying to tell the story, but it seems as though Pochettino was a dead man walking, and that's what it showed in the kind of documentary. I think it showed that it was right to sack him. It showed that he was coming to like a natural end of his Spurs career.
Yeah, well, they did have a few individual interviews with the players, obviously, while Pochettino was still in charge, and they were saying they're still fully behind him. They still back Pochettino all the way, and they want to try very hard to kind of try the hardest on the pitch to kind of stop him getting the sack and everything.
And there was that one comment from Sissoko, wasn't there, where he goes, of course we don't want Maurizio to get sacked. We want to play for him, we want to win for him, we want to stop him getting sacked.
Yeah, so I don't think he lost the dressing room. I just think it's a case of the way Maurizio wanted to play wasn't right for where the squad was at. You know, the squad had aged quite significantly from when he took over, hadn't been refreshed enough, and then so it got to a stage where the tactics weren't right for the team. And you know, obviously, we all know Pochettino wanted to refresh the team, but
for 2 years,
for a while, and without refreshing the team, it needed a different approach to succeed. Otherwise, we're never going to succeed. So I understand it from that point, but me personally would have rather we refreshed the team and kept Pochettino. But we went in this direction.
So Pochettino gets sacked. Jose comes in, and there was this instant reaction from the players, like, "Wow, we've got Jose Mourinho." there was that bit from Winks, and he was not sure if they were going to take it easy on him on training or they'll go full pelt.
And Alderweireld seemed in awe of Mourinho when he comes in. Obviously, they have a few individual interviews with Daniel Levy as well, talking to the camera, and he's saying, you know, look, to be fair to Levy, it did seem it was a very difficult decision he had to make. From what he was saying, he said it was the hardest decision he's made since being at Spurs. And it did seem to hurt him a lot. He said, you know, they've been away together a lot.
It seemed like he was breaking up with a girlfriend or something.
Yeah, he seemed like he was really fond of Pochettino, and it's something he really didn't want to do. So I can understand Levy from that point. And he said only time will tell to see if it was the right decision.
What's interesting as well, how involved Levy is to the actual day-to-day running of everything. You know, it seems as though, like when you go into a normal workplace and you've got your boss there hovering over you the whole time, it's exactly the same at Tottenham Hotspur.
Levy's hovering over Mourinho.
It's as though Daniel Levy just wants to have a part to play in everything, literally everything. And maybe it's not right. Maybe he should let his manager just get on with the job a bit.
He seemed, judging from the documentary, he seems to stop in on Mourinho quite a lot and ask him a few questions. He's like there out for lunch and eating meals with him quite often as well. And he's talking to him, like trying to, you know, about different players as well. So he does seem to enjoy getting involved in it. He likes talking about it. It seems like Levy seems like he has a valuable input himself on how the players are doing and stuff like that, which is interesting. So most chairmen, I think, when it comes to the footballing side, tend to stand off a bit.
Yeah, well, you don't know. This is like the first insight we've had, like into a background thing. You don't know what chairmen are like on day-to-day basis. It's just really interesting to see how involved Daniel Levy is, or you know, but you don't know if it's for the cameras or it's not for the cameras, so you never really know. But I think Daniel Levy is like that.
I think so. And there was a moment where he stops in on Mourinho when he's reviewing the squad, and they're talking about Dele Alli, and Levy was talking about how good Dele Alli used to be 2 years ago, and he's very up and down, and Mourinho was telling Levy how not good of a trainer he is. And I wonder, when Levy hears that kind of stuff from like Jose telling him that kind of stuff, if that goes into his thinking, say if we did receive a bid one day, if Levy's thinking, well, Jose said he's not a very good trainer, is he ever likely to be as good as he was?
Yeah, I think
stuff like that.
It all depends on the figure on that bid. You know what I mean? Because if it's like not such a great figure, you think maybe if you can get him training, get him playing again, you get something bigger. But if it's something like 60, 70 million, you probably think, well, you know what, he's not such a good trainer. Snap your hand off, get the money.
Maybe. And I wonder if that kind of thing goes into. I'm surprised they actually let that be aired, because maybe that could affect his price in the future or whatever. But I think, that was quite a good insight. Jose coming in, you saw the players' reaction to that. That was quite interesting.
And Winks saying like, wow, I've never seen so much coverage over it before. You know, the cameras all day, all night. Sky Sports News haven't shut up about it. It seemed though like they've never been part of such a media circus before.
And it'll be interesting to see later on in the documentary how they react to like certain defeats and whatnot, because at the moment he seems very motivational. The players are very much listening to what he's saying and taking everything on board. They had the really good conversation with Harry Kane as well, that one-on-one conversation with him where he's talking about how Harry Kane, he wants to raise his profile as one of the real superstars in the game, because even though he's like widely known as a very good striker, he's not a superstar. And that's where he wants his level to be. And that was really good to hear. And Harry was taking everything on board. He acknowledged what a good relationship he had with Pochettino. And but he seemed willing to kind of move past that and really get on board with how Mourinho wants to do things. So at the start, I think, although it was a bad breakup with Pochettino, it seemed like all the players seemed to be on board with Mourinho. It didn't seem like there was any feeling like, oh, we want Poch back or anything like that. It seemed like everyone was happy Mourinho was there.
What I found interesting with that Harry Kane chat, first of all, he's talking about how he needs to be on the same pedestal as Messi, as of Ronaldo, and Mourinho kind of bigging himself up and being like, I'm on that pedestal, you know, I can help you get there. And I think, you know, completely right, to be honest.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think Mourinho brings that weight with him, that like kind of gravitas with his reputation and that kind of mentality within him. And I think he can really, hopefully the players can buy into that.
Yeah, definitely. And it plays along the same kind of Do you believe that what Daniel Levy said is true, that there are two superstar managers in the world? And I'm guessing he was talking about Pep Guardiola.
Yeah.
He was talking about one manager's already
Oh,
managing, the
I
other one's
would
Jose
say
Mourinho.
I think Klopp's in there as well at the moment.
Yeah.
I think personally.
This was filmed before the
it
title
was
win.
fair, but Klopp had won the Champions League already. But I think now Klopp's in there. But I think in the world, that is probably right in terms of superstar managers. There aren't many.
You don't call Zidane a superstar manager? 3 Champions Leagues in a row?
I guess he's got to be in there as well at the moment. I guess the only argument is Mourinho and Pep have done it over a longer period than Zidane.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's probably, Zidane's won many Champions League and a league title as well, so he's up there. But I think there aren't many managers who have done it over such a long period like Mourinho and Pep have done, and Klopp as well. Actually, he's done it under quite a long period as well. So. This documentary kind of ended just before the West Ham game, so just as I was getting into Mourinho's first game in charge, and so we'll get into that in the next reviews. But just over in the first episode, it was good to see the introduction of Mourinho and the end of Pochettino. Wasn't as much insight into the ins and outs of the sacking of Pochettino as I'd liked. But it was but once Mourinho comes in, you really do get to see the behind the scenes kind of stuff.
Definitely, and you get to see the kind of reactions of all the players as well, which I thought was probably the best part of the first episode. The way they were reacting to Mourinho coming in,
and also I just want to add about the Dele Alli thing. It was really good to see Mourinho really state that point about Dele, because I think it's what we all said. Like, even on the pitch, he can be languid and be a little bit lazy with his passing and stuff. And the best thing was he showed a clip of Dele. He's like, Dele got a pass into be turned, and he played a pass out wide to Son. He was like, Dele, this is a lazy pass. You need to be turning quick, sharp. You can't just be easily playing the ball out wide. I want you to do it fast, because if you give it to Son fast, the fullback has no chance. And that's what we want to see more. We want to see more of that. And we all know Dele had a great start, but I'm interested to see in the next few episodes what happens between Dele and Mourinho, because maybe, I don't know, because obviously his form did tail off again.
Yeah, but I think that was a lot to do with players getting injured and him being up front on his own.
Yeah, you're probably
right.
I
think there was a lot of factors towards that.
I'm looking forward to seeing what his reaction to the
I think it could be a massive season for Dele this year, and I've said it many times, I think it's do or die for Dele this season. If he has a bad season this year, I think his value really, really plummets.
And one last thing to quickly note on this episode, that moment where there's pundits talking on the TV and Mourinho's doing his notes for the Tottenham squad. He's just got the Tottenham team.
That was 100% acted out. 100%.
It was fake. Unfortunately, it was going around social media. There's pundits talking about the TV and saying he's passed it, and they're having a debate basically on TV. One saying, oh, he's won all these trophies. The other one saying he's passed it, and then he ends up going up over the TV and just saying fuck off and turning it off. And that was very funny. But I think, looking back at it, I think firstly the audio, I don't know, I don't know if the whole thing was staged, but I don't think that what we heard was definitely what was on the TV. The TV seemed to have been off before he turned off as well. So I don't know, it was all, I think it might have been all staged.
And even if the TV was real, that stuff is real, That's the first day Jose Mourinho was in the job.
Yeah.
And he must have known full well about the documentary in those days leading up to it. So it could have been just, the camera's there. Sometimes you forget about it once you've been in the job for a while, but that first day,
he was probably very aware.
Yeah.
But I think, it seemed staged to me. But anyway, that's your review of the first episode.
Wait a sec, that first moment of the documentary as well, when they're taking you past the Ajax game as well, how emotional was that?
Yeah, it's a look back on better times. I mean, take me back to those times, honestly. And
I know a few Arsenal fans that are watching the documentary, they just fast forwarded that bit.
Of course they did. Couldn't handle it. But yeah, it was a shame it ended with Pochettino how it did. And I think Levy as well, he's trying to humanise himself with this documentary. He's getting a lot of camera time. He's not like being hidden like he usually is with the media. He had that first conversation with him where he's like, all the criticism's unfair on him. He didn't really go into details, but he's kind of broadly saying that.
He talks about the criticism. He says he's got this reputation of that nobody thinks he cares. People think he cares, but people think he cares about making money and not what happens on the pitch.
He claims that's unfair. He says he is ambitious. He is ambitious to improve the team, and to improve the players of the pitch. And to be fair to Levy, when he first came as in the chairman, wasn't there all these rumours of getting this one and that one, and he wanted Morientes and he wanted Eto and he wanted all these people, and they all failed to materialise or whatever. and Rivaldo, and so he was that maybe at that point he was more ambitious to get a superstar,
Maybe.
and then he learned other things. But anyway, he's clearly trying to make his case.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, that is our review of episode 1 of the Amazon documentary. Let me know your thoughts on the episode 1. Let me know if you have any thoughts, anything that we've missed. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always,
Come on, you Spurs.